What's going on, Taco fam? So it's been a little minute. I know I've been taking a lot of breaks, but I've decided to go to a regional. And as you can see, it's not branded, but it was really cool. I'll tell you about some of my matchups. I ended up making 52nd place. Unfortunately, it was top 32. I lost my last round, and I'll explain how. But today, I literally played the Sinful Spoils deck, just pure Azamina. So let's check it out. So, for starters, we got 3 of the Black Witch. Uh, since this is like Diabell control, I played 3 Vengeance, and then 1 Sin Keeper and 1 White Witch. So that was it for like the main monsters that you mainly play for like combos and stuff. And then also played Queen Azamina. So this card by itself is usually like 2 Sinful Spoils cards at a time, and it's really cool. And this card came up a lot. And then I also played 3 Lava Golem because this deck doesn't have any normal summons, so it comes up a lot. Helps you in the Lunalight matchup, which I did play against, but we'll talk about that. And then last monster was 3 Ash. So I know the first thing you're thinking is like, okay, where's the Fua loss? So I didn't have enough time, so I ended up picking up Fua losses, the commons, from a vendor, but it was already way too late. I already had my deck list submitted, had to make sure I got in there. So, and they weren't set up by the time we were registering, so. But it probably would have been also 3 Fua loss, but I ended up getting them anyway. And for the spells, we got 3 Wanted. Definitely one of the best spells in the deck. Really awesome. 3 Deception. So this is an Azamina deck, so hard opening one of these is actually really good. And a lot of my matches, it came up to where I opened 2. And one would get negated or popped or something before I could use it. And then I would have the second one. So that was pretty good too. And the gain life and inflict damage to your opponent. Don't forget about that, because I forgot about it once. It mattered in one game, but overall I ended up winning the match. But I was short 500, and I completely forgot to use Deception. Last Sinful Spoils card, that's a spell, is Subversion. This card was actually crazy. Just pushing stuff to the back row, like Gulamels and stuff like that, is important, because Dracotail is this deck's worst matchup. And 2 of my losses were to Dracotail, which is really difficult because nothing in their deck targets, and it pops stuff and negates stuff without targeting them, which gets around this deck really well, unfortunately. So with some of them non-engine, it makes it a little bit easier if you draw them. Also playing 3 Hallowed. This card was insane too. I loved opening this card a lot. I hard opened it pretty much every game, so it was really cool. So I didn't always have to search it, and obviously it's not once per turn, so it was really nice. 1 Debtors. I literally didn't see this card at all today. Didn't search it, and I probably could have just cut it altogether. It could have just been any other card, so that's probably what's going to happen. But in theory, it's really good, because it's another Azamina card that you can search. Then I played 2 Phila Diabell. This card was actually really good whenever I drew it. It was really cool. And because I played the 1 White Witch, because she plays into Droll really hard, because if you play Curse and send it to search this, you get Drolled. This card is dead, unless you're going second. It's just dead. So, 2 was cool. 3 might not be a bad idea, especially going second, like hard opening it. And then for like the 2 spicy cards, which were hilarious, was Reasoning and Monster Gate. So Monster Gate, I didn't see it at all today, but I resolved Reasoning like 2 or 3 times today, and it was actually really funny because my opponents didn't know what to call, and it was pretty much just filling up my grave. So in one of my Dracotail matchups, I used Reasoning. He calls 7, and I hit Vengeance off the top of my deck. And he had previously popped my Vengeance, so it actually kind of worked out because I needed the level 8. So it was really cool. I think I ended up winning that game specifically, but it was good. And Monster Gate's pretty much the same thing. Literally just lets you excavate your deck. But I wish Reasoning was at 3. I would do that. I didn't want talents. It was good. Every time I drew it, I was typically always looking at hands. There was only one time where I just decided draw 2. But it was just because I couldn't really play and my opponent already ashed me, so I didn't really care that I drew 2. And then for the trap cards, so played Imperm. This card was insane. I loved drawing it every time because, like I said, Draco Tail is really hard for this deck. So I loved Impermanent Arthalions. There were some instances where I almost wanted to do it to Lucaeus, but I think it was just better to not be trigger happy and just wait. And if they just never make Arthalion, then it's fine. It's like good to hold if you need it. And it's a trap as well for Vengeance, which was a big problem this deck had. Getting to the spells is easy. Getting to the trap cards sometimes is hard. And then the other busted card. This was crazy. So I wouldn't play this deck with anything less than 3, at least at this moment. Because you would think that, oh, this card's a brick. But there's so many Diabell Star names. It's really good. And all Sinful Spoils cards, which makes it really silly. Because I Reasoning milled this off the top, and it was really awesome. Because I went Deception, Tribute, and then my opponent forgot this was in a grave. They went to Ash it, so I just banished this. Just negate the Ash, got my free search. And it comes up too. Whenever Vengeance is in the grave and they try to Bestial, Bell, Sting, or whatever, you get to just negate Sting, Bell, or the Bestials with this as well. So I think this is really awesome. And if it's on the field, it's a hot red. So it's a target negate, which does come up too. Because most of the time your Diabell monsters will stay on the field. And for the last 3 cards in the main, Subdual, Morian, and Determination. Determination is definitely an MVP because there were so many times I would use this whenever my opponent would Fool Loss me, Perulia me, and just Charming me in general. I would search this and just make those same plays but on their turn. And it came up a lot. And it really saved me because I really needed to survive one of the turns, and I didn't want to give them too many cards. They hand trapped me like 3 times, and I just wanted to keep them on a low amount of cards. Because if I get them low to the ground or keep them low to the ground, we definitely win in that situation. Even against Draco Tail, sometimes if you can get them low to the ground to the point where they use so many hand traps, and then you flip cards like this, like the Sylvia really hurts them a lot more. And you just got to be careful what you negate, though, with their last few cards. So there's 40 in the main deck. So extra deck is pretty cool. So for all the Azaminas, so we have Sylvia, Murcielago. I don't think a second one ever came up, but it would be cool if you did want to play that. I played Soul. There was one instance it did come up, but my opponent scooped before I could do it, so I still think it's worth playing anyway. More Regina. There's a really cool play that you can do with this as well, where you have a card like Hallowed in the grave and you're trying to add it back. You can use this to target her. If they don't respond to it, you can chain her effect to pop 2 cards, put her back to the extra deck, and get this back to your hand. I did that a couple times today, and a lot of people didn't really expect it. And anytime that they interacted with it, they just, like ghost spelled it or something. That was fine with me because the MOA was free most times. So that was cool. And then MVP of the extra deck is Saint Azamina. So this card's insane. It says your opponent can't touch their graveyard. And that's what matters. And she can't be targeted herself. So it's a little bit difficult. Like you can even leave her in attack mode. And you don't have to worry about Horn or anything weird like that. No Arthalion because they can't target it and they can't touch their grave. But they can target stuff in your graveyard, so you just got to be careful. And then to go with her, I played the 2 Azamina. This card was really cool as well. I definitely enjoyed summoning it. Maybe like 3 times, I think. and every time I summoned it, it came up. In the Lunalight matchup that I played, I summoned it to win a game. I did this against a Draco Tail player. It almost won me the game, but I misplayed. But I think I was still going to lose that game anyway, unfortunately. And it was a game 3 situation. But I was like, man, I'm off lethal. But I ended up finding out that he had Fallen into Virtuous as his last card set. So it's kind of unfortunate that people playing, our branded cards, trying to get them banned. Anyways, 2 Poplar. It definitely comes up. Your extra deck is so flexible. And believe it or not, because I do play the 1 White Forest monster in the White Witch, it's actually kind of funny because it comes up to put her in the back row, and then you could send her with any of the cards that you need. Like sometimes I would summon like a Diabell Star, the Black Witch, and send it off, and it's just pretty much a free card to send. So it's cool. 2 Vengeance Dragon. This came up a lot. I summoned 1 a couple times, and any turn after that I needed, to go for like a game shot or something, and I had to link this off, I would just end up making another one. So that's where the double Poplar and double disc comes up as well. Silvera didn't summon it at all today, but it is there and it does come up. Free Book of Moon during their turn. It's better against Yummy, which I definitely played today. Played pure Yummy, and that was an awesome match. Cool guy, and I ended up winning that match. And then Jiraishin. So this card was supposed to be a Psychic and Punisher, but I didn't have enough time to find one. I was kind of scrambling, and I haven't really competed in a very long time. So this will do. It was good, but in theory, it should come up, or it can come up, but I just didn't summon it. So, but it's still there, and I don't think it's worth cutting or anything. And then SP Little Knight was the last thing that I played. Some of this a load of times. Sometimes if you don't OTK them, because you are kind of like a control mid-range deck anyway, sometimes you like break their board, you can't kill them, make SP, start getting rid of their resources in the grave so that they have less cards during their follow-up turn to combat whatever you have. So it does come up sometimes. I had a funny game. I ended up playing against a White Forest deck, which is actually kind of cool. It was a 60 card pile. This guy hit me with the craziest combo. We were both drolling each other. That's cool. But he literally went, okay, I'm going to, because he watched me grab a Baldric from my deck off of Magma, which I'll show you in my side deck. So he went Salesman. He called the Baldric in my hand, and then he used the Black Goat that he had in his graveyard to call the SP while she was by herself, and then I got OTK'd. I was like, whoa. That came out of nowhere, and that was kind of crazy. Kind of cool as well. First side deck, 3 Droll. This was a good card. This is the reason why I never like playing pure White Forest, is because the deck just folds to this, and this deck you can play through Droll a lot easier because you can send stuff to the graveyard and stuff like that, kind of like how Branded does. But overall, this is good. It's just a generic card, especially when you're going in blind. This is usually one of the things I put in, because if your opponent doesn't reveal what they're playing, they scoop, then this is probably just a good default to put in. And overall, it's a really good card. And it helps you in the Mitsurugi matchups. I did play 3 Bestials. Played a Magma, a Druid, and a Baldric. It's just really cool. These were the last 3 side deck slots, and I think it was worth it. I sided them in, and I used Magma a lot, believe it or not. Like, I actually drew this card more than I thought I would, and the Baldric, I drew them a lot more than I thought I would. Druid was like the only one I just didn't draw, ever. But they were good, and I think you should still play them. So I played Thrust. There were some wacky things that you can really do, because it's actually funny whenever you thrust into a reasoning against your opponent. after they see you search a reasoning, they kind of want to ash the reasoning at that point. Or if they want to hold the ash, they'll just try to call 7 once they see what you're playing. But this is post side, so they don't know what kind of levels that you were playing, because you saw I have the bestials and stuff like that. So those level 6s. I have no normal summons, so anytime I saw a lava golem off of it, it just got milled to the grave. And I play a lot of spells and traps. So it's really good overall. And I'm going to leave it to the side because it also goes with another card to that side. Call by for when I choose to go first. Because just stopping certain hand traps is really cool and really good. And then for the trap cards, I played one anti-spell because, as you saw, I played Diabells. So you can do a legit lock whenever you summon Diabells and then have this. Your opponent pretty much can't play it if they're playing a bunch of spells or they need their spells to play. Didn't draw it at all, so, but in theory, it's good. Black Goat. I saw this card a couple times. I hit it off reasoning like once or twice, which is funny. Because my opponents did not expect it at all. There was like once or twice that I drew it, and I had Black Witch, so I would discard it with the Black Witch, use the Black Witch effect. If they don't respond, I could like call something with this. Or if I like drew it and like, or if I got use thrust to get this, I would usually call Ortholion in that matchup, or Murakumo and the Mitsurugi matchup, and Snatchy, of course. So that was really good. And the last card that I was talking about that goes with the thrust, I was siding 3 evenly matched. So this card just evenly matched them for their life savings. Like, people don't play around this card. It's mainly there for Dracotail because it's a really hard matchup. If you go second, you don't do anything. You just go straight to battle. They don't have any spell and trap negates for this. So you just straight up just go boop, get rid of everything. They probably might keep like 1 trap. And since they know what you're playing, they're probably going to keep the sting. So all you got to do is just bait the sting. And then you should be in a more commanding position. And those are resources that they can't get back. So yeah, overall there was 8 rounds today. I went 5-3. I know, kind of sucks, but not too bad for my first time like competing at a regional in like a year or two. And I didn't have the worst experience, but one of my losses was in round 2, which was Dracotail. That was just unwinnable. Like, he just drew busted, and I drew the combo, but it was just, all their monsters are just crazy into this deck. Like Malulu, Pan, especially Malulu, just negating anything. So my Sylvia just always got negated. Even if you negate correctly, if they just confuse, they can just fuse. So I definitely lost that game. Then in round 5, I lost again. I lost to Dracotail. And it was really disheartening because game 3, I felt like there was a shot. I played through everything correctly, at least in my eyes, and I'm fairly certain in my opponent's eyes as well. Even with the slight misplay, as I stated before, it didn't change anything because I still made my play, and then he fallen virtuous, my last card, so it literally didn't even matter. And then, unfortunately, I lost in round 8 to Vanquish Soul K9, but I lost in game 3 because my opponent opened Shifter, and my hand was crazy, because my hand was literally this. Let me see what else. I'm trying to remember it all. This. Droll, and I can't remember the other card. I think it was like, oh no, I do remember now. It was Imperm. Yeah, so this is literally my opening hand, and I was going first. If that Shifter was not there, my hand was insane, because this is 2 simple spoils by itself, and I hard open this, so the Black Witch could set anything else, and I could chain block the Murcielago. So even if I do get trolled, I still would have gotten my search that I needed anyway. And the Black Witch would have been able to set Subdual and stuff like that to try to lock them out, or I could have set the trap, the Silvera, and I already had a spell and trap for Vengeance, so I would have gotten access to Vengeance and everything too. So I would have had like the standard board, but he literally said draw phase, anything. I said no, and I knew what that meant, and I was just hoping it was gonna be a Charmy, and it was a shifter, and I was like, all right. And then he was like, anything, no, Perulia. I was like, wow, okay. Perulia, fine with. The shifter, I'm not fine with. I just couldn't play. Kudos to the guy. It was nice. We had a couple rulings and judge calls, but that was okay. I think regardless, it was still fun. Still a little disheartening that, I didn't make it, but, make it 52nd after, so long of not playing. It's actually pretty good. So I guess I'm proud of myself for that. But I really wanted to get my invite, at least get in there. But I think if I won the last round, I think I would have made. Well, can't really say that. Well, maybe because of his tiebreakers, because I think he made 22nd or 30th, something like that. So I would have gotten in. But hindsight's 2020. It is what it is. Some people gotta win. Some people gotta lose. All right, y'all. Peace.